Life is full of such odd and unexplainable phenomenon, like ghosts, cryptids, shadow people, aliens, Bigfoot, and how keeping watch is almost at 100 subscribers. Thanks guys, this means a lot, and I hope we have many more peculiar tales in the future. On this week's episode, we have a collaboration with Atticus Sugar, an animator and illustrator who helped out with some of the assets for the animations. Thank you, Atticus. This was a lot of fun to work on. Now, let's begin the story. Let's begin keeping watch. We've seen how some hotels can be kinda creepy, and how can they not with the number of souls that pass through? But this next experience happens to take place in a pirate restaurant/hotel, and it's connected to the pirate lore of Savannah, Georgia. Let's see that now. Let's see this experience by user Not Carry Nation in The Haunted Pirate House of Savannah. Between my experiences and a friend's experiences, I have enough content from Savannah, Georgia to write several novels. I guess I'll just do this by location. If people like these stories, then I'll do more. In 1723, James Oglethorpe and his ragtag gang of debtors' prison sailed to Savannah, Georgia in search of a place to start over. One of the first things they did was start a garden of all kinds of different plants to see what would grow here. The home of the gardener who managed the trustees' garden still stands today. In the 1750s, a saloon hotel was built around 50 feet from his home. In Savannah, there's a massive tunnel system under the city. It was mostly used for transporting goods. At the sailors' saloon, however, pirates had a habit of drugging sailors and then dragging them from a tunnel opening just outside the saloon to their waiting ship, where the men would wake up to find themselves pirate slaves. Later, these two buildings were connected, and it is now a restaurant called The Pirate's House. The Pirate's House is a natural draw to the paranormal. Not only is it in the oldest part of Savannah, but it features a saloon hotel with a violent history, the oldest home in Georgia, which saw at least one horrible death, and 2 tunnel openings. I worked at the Pirate's House for a short while a few years ago, but it doesn't take long to start feeling spooky there. I'll start with the experience of one of the costumed pirates. They give tours and other stuff. His name for this purpose is Al. I noticed that Al would use a lightsaber with tape at the end to clean trash out of the tunnel openings. Stupid people were always throwing their trash down it because they were probably raised in a barn. This tunnel is a literal 6-foot hole in the ground which forms an L shape, where it leads to other places in Savannah. I asked him why he did this. It would be easier to use a ladder to go into the tunnel and clean it that way. He said that several years ago he had arrived early to work. Like all of Savannah is still asleep early. To clean out the tunnels. He was the only one in the restaurant, aside from the kitchen employees. He went into the dark tunnel and began cleaning. He was staying mostly in the opening since people couldn't physically throw trash into the depths of the tunnel. From deeper inside the tunnel, he heard his sister's voice cry out his childhood nickname, which only his immediate family knew. He said it immediately got significantly cold, and he felt sick to his stomach. He could feel this evil presence around him. He quickly climbed out of the tunnel and never went back. Even before he told me this, I always got a bad feeling around the tunnels. I never liked to have my back to them, and there were many patrons that felt the same way. Al loved talking about ghosts when giving tours. Once when he was taking some people through the gardener's house, where I was cleaning and setting a table, nobody was eating there. It was just us. He was telling the story of a small boy who died of either tuberculosis or yellow fever in the house, who was often seen around. The boy loved coins and would toss them around the house. As he was telling his story, I had just wiped down the table and chairs and was setting it when one of the women nearby was hit in the leg by a penny that she said fell off the table. This is impossible. If a penny had been on the table, I would have seen it. We all heard the penny hit the floor right after it hit her, and immediately everyone went silent. It was so chilling. Needless to say, I set that table and got out of there ASAP. I always get creeped out in that little house anyways. Once I saw a child waving to one of the home's empty windows. Someone asked what he was doing, and he said there was a little boy on the other side. It's just so creepy. I used to see shadows out of the corner of my eye and hear my name being called when I was in the back ballrooms, bussing/setting tables by myself. Once a manager was locking up one of these back rooms for the night. As he was pulling the door closed, it was yanked open so hard that it pulled him forward. It was clear to many people that there was something very strong and very evil there. I absolutely hated going back there myself, and I always felt like I was being watched. I got this horrible feeling in my stomach, and I just knew that the spirit was malicious. There are 2 possessions that I know of. One was a guest. She walked in acting normal, telling the hosts how she used to eat at the pirate's house as a kid and how much she missed it. Next to the host stand, there is a glass case that holds a bunch of merch from the gift shop. There's a couple of fake skulls and different pirate stuff. As soon as the woman crossed the threshold, her entire demeanor changed. Her posture, her facial expression, her voice, everything. She started screaming and cussing out one of the skulls in the glass case. The hosts were really freaked out, and this naturally drew attention from everyone in the lobby area. They started asking if she needed water, and one of the managers touched her shoulder. As soon as he did that, she went completely back to normal. She turned around with her big smile as though she had merely glanced at the case. She started gushing about how much she had enjoyed her meal and couldn't wait to come back, and then walked out. She never ate anything and was inside the restaurant for less than 10 minutes. The upstairs part of the saloon or hotel was where guests slept. It's now mostly used for storage, but it still has all the original walls, floors, fireplaces, and even some furniture. Guests and most employees weren't allowed up there, but those that were would always try to avoid it because of how creepy it felt. Apparently, it was an entirely different atmosphere to the rest of the restaurant. The floor and stairs creak, and it feels like someone or something is waiting behind every door. The only light is sunlight through the original glass, so it's even worse at night. This is the end of The Watch. Thank you for joining us. If you like what you see and you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe. For more on Keeping Watch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all under the same name, Keeping Watch. If you'd like to have your own story, illustrated and narrated, please send it to my email at jacobwilhellm@gmail.com. For first-hand accounts of the peculiar or the paranormal, keep it here at Keeping Watch.